Sunday healthy and after a performance like that?
Yeah, it felt really good. I mean, just to be finally, I felt like a couple bruises for the first time in a long time, and it felt really good.
You talked about a few weeks ago when you're on the sideline and you're hurt, the phone gets real quiet. What was the phone like after the game?
Well, I had a lot of text messages and everything, which was really cool just for, the people that, have, some people that I haven't heard from in a while and some people that I've been relying on a lot, through this process. And I was just really happy to hear from those people.
Can you talk about who some of those people are? You want to shout them out or anything, who you really did rely on during this time?
Well, I know she definitely wants me to shout her out as my Nana. She's the best Nana in the world. I told her I'd say that at one point in my life. But everyone, really in terms of like my family and even people from back home from Reno, Nevada. I haven't been there in so long, but to, hear that, they still support me a lot means a lot to me.
The 40 points is good, but then you look back at it, going through video, how much better could it have been? And obviously, how good can this offense still get to? And you almost spotted them a half and put up 40.
Yeah, I think, we definitely left some plays out there. And, for me, I felt like I definitely, left some plays out there in the first half. But I think, kind of like what I said after the game was, we're not really too worried about the 40 points. We're just worried about, how can we play our best every single week. And, I think, as us being in a first game situation, with the offense obviously and everything, we're just looking to get better every single week.
Cade, Logan had said that he felt like this momentum from Saturday carried into your Tuesday practice today. Did you feel that momentum carry? And I guess how do you take that into Saturday too?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we got off to a really hot start today. I remember last week on Tuesday was definitely our worst day. We were struggling a little bit. It was pretty chaotic, but that's the kind of, atmosphere that the coaches want to create on a Tuesday to make it, as chaotic and as stressful as possible so that when it comes game time that, we're able to operate calmly. But I definitely, I'm glad Logan mentioned that because we felt that as an offense. And I think, obviously, we still have a lot of preparation to do, but I think that just kind of goes with, the experience and the confidence, after being able to execute in a game. We're just looking to do the same thing this week.
When you watch the film of Saturday, just what kind of stood out as you watched it?
I think what stood out to me was, just kind of the obvious, the tale of two halves. I think, for us to really deal with some adversity, in the first half and for us to stick together and, we really stayed pretty calm at halftime. Even, we were talking to some of the defensive guys at halftime, they're shutting them out. And even some of those guys were encouraging as well. I remember me and Luke talked a little bit at halftime, and he was just making sure that hey, we're going to be okay. And I was like, yeah, man, we're okay, but we got to go out there and get after it this second half. But I was just, I think overall it's just really that was just the biggest difference.
How important was it to get that touchdown on that first drive of that second half and really start off strong after halftime?
Yeah, it was huge. Usually we're used to receiving the ball, going in to start the game. So for us to, get the ball going into the second half, that was new for us. And for us to, be able to go down the field, throw together a really good drive, I really think it sparked the second half.
What did you learn from playing in the CyHawk game last year and through what you've heard this year, what it's like to be a part of this rivalry?
I just know how the more I'm, in Iowa, I just realize, how important this game is for the state. And I think, they're a really good program. They have a lot of good players, and it's a veteran group. And, I think overall, this is good. Every single time these two teams meet, it's going to be a battle. And, I think we're going to expect that, and we're looking forward to it this week.
What stands out about their secondary?
Their secondary, they have multiple all-conference players. They have, as I mentioned, they're very seasoned. They run a unique defense, and they have mastered that defense. And I think, for us to, we're got to play our best in order to win.
You've been a part of rivalries other places. Where does this one kind of fit in? And being part of it, the time that you have, where does it fit and what is it like for you?
Yeah, I love this rivalry. I think, it's a completely different feel from any other rivalries just because of, it's like your state championship or like your high school. It reminds me of like the team that, your high school rivalry, and I think it kind of brings back those feelings. So I think that's really cool. And overall, it's just an awesome game.
In terms of implementing this scheme, kind of how do things feel kind of going in week two? I'm sure you weren't pulling out all schematic stops right away in week one.
I mean, kind of every week's going to be different as far as, you know, we're facing different defenses. You know, we're going to run some stuff some weeks, we're going to run different stuff other weeks, you know, and just based on the schematics of each play, you know, things might be different. So I think that's really the process that we're going through right now, is figuring out which, you know, plays, what schemes are going to work best this week.
It seemed like you got more comfortable as the game went on. Was there like a play where you felt that, like you felt like you kind of were in rhythm?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the first half, we went on a pretty solid drive there at the end of the second quarter, and for me too, I remember I completed 2 balls, one to Luke on 3rd down, and then one to Reese over the middle. Those 2 balls I really felt like got, you know, my confidence going, and those throws, really I felt like, you know, I was like, okay, time to go now, you know, and I think, you know, once we were able to go from there, and then, you know, we were able to build some momentum at the end of the half, and then for, obviously, as a whole offense, for us to, you know, find the end zone to start off the second half was huge for everyone.
How much of
Mr.
it?
Ortworth.
Go ahead, Pat.
The pass to Ortworth, how much of that was scripted and how much of that was freelance? Just adjusting to the moment.
That was a lot of freelance. I mean, there was an original play, and that play broke down pretty fast. So, yeah, I mean, it was just kind of a natural play. I think, you know, Ort did an unbelievable job of, he knows that I was scrambling, and he was able to adjust his original route. And then where I put the ball, I was kind of leading him a little more inside to stack the defender, and that's exactly what he did, and he ended up making an unbelievable play.
You showed a lot of emotion after that play near the sideline.
Yeah, that one got me going. That was fun. Yeah, I mean, plays like that, you know, and like when the offense is running, you know, that's, you know, when you're able to feel the momentum, you're able to, you know, especially feel the impact that the crowd has on the game, on, you know, when big plays occur. You know, that's a part of the game that we love.
How important is it mentally? Maybe we're overestimating or underestimating it, but how important in the offense is it to just see it work?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just kind of an overall, I mean, kind of the philosophy of just game experience. You know, I think, you know, obviously we have a lot of older guys on this team, a lot of guys that have played a lot of football, but, you know, every single year, every single game, you know, whether it's the game plan, whether it's for us, it's a new system for us to be able to see it happen on game day. I mean, that's what we work all year for.
Cade, we've talked about your confidence, you know, here and there throughout your time here, but I just have to imagine that your confidence after being able to play a full game healthy and play that second half the way you did is just maybe at an all-time high, or even, you know, pushed forward from where it was when we talked about it before.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it feels like a relief. I mean, I've been, you know, really, you know, it's been a tough 2 years for me personally, and for me to, you know, finally be out there and, you know, to feel like I played, you know, the way I think I should be able to play, and how, you know, the impact that I feel like I can have on our offense, you know, that felt really good. And for me to, you know, come back Sunday morning and be able to, you know, not have to go to the training room was a really good feeling.
What's your relationship like with Keller, and what's he meant to the quarterback room, a guy who's not far removed from his own playing days and
Yeah.
did a lot of good stuff?
Keller is super unique. He's an awesome dude. He, you know, he does everything he possibly can to help us out. We really appreciate him, and we understand the work that he does. What, you know, I mean, I rely on Keller about a lot of things, and, you know, for him to have playing experience and really just overall life experience, he's, you know, he's a really good influence in our room.
You guys went hurry up or something on the first touchdown. You went to the line of scrimmage really quick anyway. Was that called? Was that something you called? How did that come about?
Yeah, so we, Coach Lester called that.
Okay.
And, you know, I think just we noticed kind of the flow of the game, and, you know, when we were able to start stacking plays, you know, how our tempo started to pick up, and really we just, you know, we just stuck with it a little bit, and we mix in some hurry up plays, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but that's kind of the, you know, the risk that you take, because you're not able to, sometimes the defense isn't fully set. But on that particular play on our first touchdown, we were, you know, we were in the red zone, we, you know, we ran a pretty base play, and it worked.
What can you just share about your grandmother and what makes her the best?
Well, first of all, she's the best cook ever. She's Italian, yeah. I love my family. I mean, I love my grandparents. I've been very blessed to have an unbelievable family who's been nothing but supportive, you know, throughout my life, and for my 2 brothers. And, you know, the best part about season is that I get to see my family a lot more often. And, you know, a part of, you know, traveling and, you know, going to school away from home. The moments that I get to spend with them is special.
So what's a favorite dish she makes?
She makes cioppino and pesto gnocchi, which is my favorite.
They in Reno? Is that what she is?
So they're in outside San Francisco, so that's where my dad grew up, and when we lived in Reno, that was about just a 4-hour drive to see them.
So getting back to the tempo, Logan was talking about it earlier. Is that something, he said Coach Lester's like all about tempo. And what does that mean? Is it like just the pace of practice? Is it like trying to get plays off quicker? What does that mean to you?
I think it's both. So like when we're in practice and we're trying to push the tempo, we want to get in and out of the huddle. We want to execute the play, then get back on the line, get in the huddle, and run the next one. And I think really the advantage for us in doing that, we other than maybe one play where was a play clock an issue
Okay, yeah.
last week.
That,
So
yeah.
we were very ahead on the play clock throughout the entire game, which is also a huge advantage for everyone on the offense, because then if we need to make checks or if we need to, you know, just the more time that we're able to see the defense before we run the play is only to our benefit.
Does the headset help in that way at all, or is it just a part of it?
Well, I think it does, just because then I don't have to take so long to look at the sideline, because the whole process of, you know, what it used to be was basically the communication with me and Coach Lester would happen with the coaches on the sideline, and then the sideline has communicated with me. So then we're taking multiple steps out of that process.
You know, this rivalry means a lot to a lot of people. You're one of the few players on this team who can finish your career without a loss ever at Iowa State. I mean, would that mean something to you?
Yeah, absolutely. That would mean a lot to me. And, you know, for the other guys on this team who, you know, haven't lost a game to Iowa State, I mean, you know, that's something special. And I think, you know, overall, I mean, when you're able to beat a team like them who's, you know, has that level of talent and, you know, they've had a lot of success over the years, you know, it means a lot.
What did you like, what you saw from Kamari and Caleb, especially as that game went on Saturday?
Yeah, I think they just showed their toughness. I think, you know, the first half, you know, it was tough every yard was earned in the first half in the run game. And then for us to be able to, really open some big games, big runs out in the second half was huge. And I think that was just overall the combination of the toughness of the running backs and then really just the O-line wearing the other guys down.
You see Caleb Brown making an impact this week? I know obviously you didn't have him last week, so is he injecting anything into the offense this week?
He's been practicing with us, you know, and like, you know, it's not like he's been gone from the team
True,
at all.
yeah.
But, you know, for him to be taking some reps on offense, you know, he was definitely, you know, he was repping with us today, and, you know, he made a couple nice catches today, so it's glad to have him back.
Offense used a lot more pre-snap motion than they did last year. What does that allow you guys to do, and what effect does it have on a defense?
Yeah, I think, you know, motion has multiple impacts on a defense, whether it's, you know, confusion, forcing them to communicate more. Also, it also helps us gain either leverage or information. And kind of in any offense, you know, there's a reason why you motion, and whatever that particular motion is, like, we're gaining information every single time we do it.
Thanks, Cade.
Thanks, Cade.